I'm gonna do some call outs real quick. Let me get into this real quick. Let's see here. OT Brink, thank you so much for sharing the bits. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. E-Rock throwing 1,000 bits on it. Appreciate that, man. It's a good look. Beers and Beast throwing a hundo on it. Thank you so much. DJ Poly Vibe 75 and Holmesy 717 and Boomer Davis. Thanks for the follows. Appreciate that, guys. Man Like Deeps throwing 5 tier 1s out to the crew. That's the homie right there. Everybody, somebody shout out Man Like Deeps in the chat, please. He has a weekly drum show. I don't know if I want to call it a drum and bass show, but it's a really good personality show that happens every week. So make sure you follow Man Like Deeps. This is a really, really good show. It's become part of my day. Entity throwing out a tier 1. Thank you so much. Another tier 1 and another tier 1. Jeez, Entity. Entity just won the lottery apparently. Big up to This Twitch Slaps for subscribing for 3 months. And then Lexi throwing out some bits. Tabby J 2020, thanks for the follow. 2 Junglists, thanks for the follow. Gonzo Rojo, thanks for the follow. DJ Lookout, appreciate the cheer. We're here with Z-Trip. This is the 916 Junglist channel. I appreciate everyone for locking in. Your mom's just threw out a tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Lexi threw out another 100 bits. No Use for Anger just threw 5 tier 1s out to the crew. Man, y'all making it rain tonight. I appreciate that. Keeping the lights on here. Big up, y'all. Big up. Co Budman, appreciate the follow. This is the 916 Junglist channel. We're locked in with my favorite DJ, Z-Trip, right now. And I was saying earlier, I don't have favorites, dude. I don't play favorites, but there's some couple of stories that stood out that really put it over the top for me. And your skill as a DJ is amazing, and obviously that gets top credit. I will never discount that. But there's a couple of stories that stand out, and they're both related to Motown on Mondays. And I wanted to share them with you, okay? And they're not, they're not even going to be like, what does this have to do with anything? So, first thing, you are one of 2 DJs that I have booked in the past, because I don't know, Chris Hopkins, we all love Chris Hopkins, ChrisHopkins.fun.
Yeah, big up, shout him out, by the way.
Yeah, yes. Somebody throw a shout out to Hopkins.fun in the chat, aka Hopkins Not Fun. That's the homie. When we were doing Motown on Mondays, the 5-year anniversary last summer, I was there. I don't know if you know I was there. I was in the background making shit happen. I'm fucking doing the local role. And one thing that stood out is you are one of 2 DJs that has actually shown up on time and even shown up at all for a sound check and did a proper sound check for your set.
Why is that so fucking weird, by the way? Why is that weird? It's your job. It's your job.
It was only you and LTJ Bookham were the only 2 people that showed up.
I'm just saying, man. Come on, man. That shouldn't be weird. That shouldn't be weird.
It shouldn't be weird. I sound check my gigs, and I feel like all the promotions that I've done, I always have a sound check in the afternoon for anybody that wants to come and do a sound check. They have something specific they need to do. They want to make sure it all works out. And 2 people in 22 years of promoting shows, bro. And
that's crazy. Well, shout out to LTJ Bookham. Let's just go there. That's what I love to see. He and I should do a show together, because that's real.
I love it.
That would be the show. It would be the smoothest running show.
It would be the smoothest running show.
Yeah, big up, man. Yeah.
Another pressing question that we all want to know. Another pressing question. Have you gone snowboarding yet this winter?
No, well, technically it's kind of becoming winter here, shortly. But the last season I went once, and I'm big into snowboarding, obviously, and I had 3 or 4, 5 months booked out, in February, March, whenever COVID really hit, and 3 of the shows that I had were snowboarding events where I was also, so what I do is I'll book a show, and then I'll take a couple days and ride if I'm, in Colorado or Utah or Whistler or wherever. But I had some really dope snowboard things lined up, and there's a spot called Yellowstone, which is an invite only, super posh private mountain that you can only ride if you have the right connects. And I had a gig there that I was doing, and I was really looking forward to it because I was asked to ride there a few years back. I never got a chance to. Everything was set up, and then we had to end up canceling, obviously. So all of last season, dust, and who knows how things are going to be now that sort of it feels like COVID is ramping up again. So
yep.
I don't know, man. I feel like I may just get super gorilla, throw all my boards into the back of the car, and just drive to some mountain somewhere and just backcountry just to get it off my chest. You know what I mean? Because
there's
I don't
a
know
tranquility,
if I can
man. It's like one of the reasons. This is going back to one of the reasons why you're my favorite DJs. There's a tranquility, like a weird meditative state that I get into when I'm writing, and you've described it in previous interviews. So and it caught my ear. And you're absolutely right. People describe that about surfing and other things too. And it's just like this weird connection that you get when you're just there. And a lot of times it's when you're all alone and you're just, and you're in your zone. And there's nothing like it. And you come out of it way rejuvenated and refreshed, and you make like the dopest beat you've ever made. Like it's like
yeah, dude. It really is. I mean, the thing is, you also have to if anyone's thinking about like getting started, you have to get over the hump of like learning it and like getting your legs and getting your technique down. But like once you get to a point where for me, like I used to skate and used to do tricks and shit. And then I sort of was like, I just kind of like the longboard. I like to cruise. It's the same thing with riding. Like I don't do mad tricks and shit. Like that's not really. I'm not, I broke my collarbone snowboarding. And I've 9 pins in my collarbone from that. And that was when I was like raging and going crazy. Once that happened, I just was sort of like, it was like the hand of God, like coming down and just like sunning me, like sit the fuck down, stop. I was like, and once that happened, it was, now it's just about cruising. It's about, I don't care what it could be bluebird, it could be dumping, it could be powder, it could be packed, it doesn't matter. It's really about just going out in the zen of it for me. So I ride with one ear in and one ear out, and I listen to a lot of tunes, things I'm working on. I'll test shit out on the mountain, but like it's very much a thing about sort of going up and like just being away from people, sometimes backcountry, sometimes just little powder stashes here and there, but man, it's really just about riding and enjoying the ride and just sort of coasting and cruising and being up, being out in nature and the cold air and just the solitude. I don't know. I love that. And I wanted to get into surfing because I live in San Diego and the surfing out here is top notch. I've gone a couple times, but I'm just not, I need a sensei to take me out. Cause it's the same thing with riding. Like I had a couple people who took me under their wing early on, taught me sort of things. And it's like, I can't just be out surfing and be like, hey guys, come paddle out. What's going on, man? Like I'm just like, full Barney,
get the fuck
like,
out
hey,
of here.
Hey dudes, hang loose, dudes. Like I can't, I need somebody who like shows me the ropes, because I also know that there's like DJing, like coffee, like weed, like surfing, snowboarding, skating, music. There's a zen to all of it. Yep. And there's also a respect that has to happen in all of these things to understand, to be able to smoke the best, to be able to drink the best, to be able to ride the best, to be able to to listen to the best. You can't just gobble it up. You have to like pay your dues and understand. And there's a level to all of it, and digging for records, all of it. There's an art to all of it. And in the surfing department, I feel like I need to go out with the right people in order to sort of become the Padawan to the master. And that'll take years. And I respect that. So, I don't take it lightly, and I don't just get a board and like, hey, I'm a surfer now. It's like, it's not how it works,
Feel that. Last thing that this is 3 of 3 of my favorite, the things that made you my favorite DJ. This is a story that I heard secondhand. This actually happened at Mom San Francisco. You were performing at Mom San Francisco with Donovan, I think Lazy Boy, and a couple other people, I can't remember. And it was the heat of the night in San Francisco. You're headlining, you're rocking it, you're fully engaged with the crowd. And I don't know if those who know about the Madrone in San Francisco's Mom San Francisco, but he's going to know where this is going immediately. The coat check is right next to the DJ booth. And there was a time when the person who was maintaining the coat check was not there, and people were coming up to Z-Trip with their tickets, asking them to claim their coat. And he was rocking the crowd, like full on ripping it, and still maintaining this like customer service smile. Oh, sure. Yeah. Let me get your ticket. Okay.
Sometimes, man, sometimes you got to wear all the hats in the club, man.
That is a true testament to your character, man. Like that's a real dude type move, man. Like, and that's awesome, man. Seriously, big up to you for just being dope, dude.
But I tell you what, I think I made good tips that night, so it kind of worked out. Like I think if I remember
that San Francisco
correctly,
tech money's no joke, man.
Yeah. I think I made some good. I made some good tunes. I mean, good money from playing those tunes. No, I mean, like, here's the funny thing. The like, I don't, fuck it. You know what I mean? I think I had just played a set, like a headline set somewhere, and had popped in. It was on like on Hate, right? Wasn't it on Hate?
Yeah, like the drone Motown on Mondays can give you the address. It's all San Francisco.
Yeah.
Miles away.
But nonetheless, I think I remember coming in there. And they were like, "Hey, come by and do a set or something." So I popped in, and like I was doing my thing, and someone was like, "Here, will you grab the thing?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll grab it here." Because you're just, what are you gonna be like? No, I'm the DJ. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Right. I guess at this moment, between these 32 bars, I'm the coat check. So sure, man. Red jacket, girl with a pink hat, got it. Locked eyes, cool, and just, as long as I can get my mix back and get back to mixing.
Yeah,
like, sure.
That's so good.
I don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
So
like, fuck it.
Good.
That's awesome. I completely spaced about that. Oh shit, man. Amazing.
Man. So
funny,
yeah, that's why you're my favorite DJ, man. Big up Z-Trip, dude. Shouts out, bro.
Oh, that's awesome. Dude, the amount of stories I have that are like of that level, just things that just happen, man. Shit that just happens while you're spinning that, like, you can't make it up. You know what I mean? It's just funny, man. It's comedy.
That's good stuff, man. Yeah, the stories that you can tell over time and stuff that you don't even remember, then you bring it back and you're like, oh man, yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
So right now, let's get back heavy into DJing, and this is a hot topic right now, obviously. So early March comes around. 2020 is looking like an incredible calendar, and like many of us around the world, myself included, who are in the live events industry, over the course of 2 weeks, you're getting emails of event cancellations left and right, to the point where basically your entire calendar disappears for 2020 within a matter of a couple of weeks. And many of us are left scrambling. Many of us are left with a skill set that doesn't land us any kind of a job that was comparable to what we were making. And a lot of us didn't qualify for unemployment because technically we were self-employed contractors. And so we were left without scraping for what we can do. Now, I'm curious, how tell us that story, if you could, from Z-Trip's perspective, going into 2020 with high aspirations and the left turn that happened around March.
Well, you got to understand, man, I was coming in off of a extremely high start of the year. I had played with LL. He and I did Times
incredible,
Square,
by the way. Holy
years.
Shit, dude.
Yeah, ball drop in Times Square with LL. On Fox TV. Big thing.
Like, where do you go from there, dude? Like,
well, I mean, like, but the thing is, like, here's the other thing. Like, here's the other thing. LL also from Queens, me from Queens. Here's some cats from New York who, have done a lot of different things. He and I, respectively, in our worlds, but we both have never played Times Square. You know what I mean? We both never did the ball drop. Like, that was a major accomplishment for both of us.
Yeah.
And we were both super excited about it. It went great. Smashed it. Did our thing. All the homies hit me. Yo, I'm watching right now. Oh, you're on TV. Oh shit! Like, it was a moment. Like, we were all, I'm in the tux. It was like 2020, man. 2020 vision. The ball drop. Everyone in their 2020 glasses, and the whole moment. And it was like, yo, this is going to be the year. We've had, you know, obviously with all the politics and the craziness that had gone on, it was like, yo, I think this is going to be the year. Like, let's engage. This is going to be it. Finally, man, last year was crazy. This is going to be the year. And kicked it off famously. Like, it was just incredible. And then all of a sudden, you know, I'm into my steps. I got my like I said, 5-6 months planned out. Shows, things are happening. I went snowboarding once, you know what I mean? So that was cool. Got one run in, and my last show was in Colorado. I did a show with Qbert, and it was at Cervantes, and that was the last show I did. I had a few more, and they all ended up getting postponed originally, and then they ended up, some got canceled, and then some are even still postponed till next year. So it's like, which is just crazy to have a, you know, I've never been in a situation where I've had to play a makeup date that's like a year away. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's some Rolling Stone shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know what
totally,
I mean? So to wrap my head around like that concept was kind of wild. But so, you know, but as things started happening, there was an initial sort of level of like, oh shit, like I don't know what's the end look like, right? And how is this how do you bounce back from this? Where does it stop? What is the ending? What does this even mean in the interim? Like, this is how I make a living.
Right.
I don't release a lot of music because I was always on the road, so I didn't really stay home and make a lot of music. So you know, although I've done production, I've put out records, the last 7, 8, 9 years, like I was just on the road,
right?
You know, religiously. So it made me stop and be like, wow, I got to figure out sort of how to supplement this income. And streaming was sort of the first thing to naturally gravitate towards. I was a little hesitant at first because I was like, well, I don't want to do that. This doesn't feel right. But then it also got to a point where I started to realize with fans and people who wanted to see me. I mean, let me even take a step back. There's about 3 weeks where I wasn't on Instagram. I wasn't on social media. I unplugged. I evaporated. I was gone. I was like, I'm out. And I just sat and I just was like, you gotta understand, 30 years of being on the road to all of a sudden be intentionally grounded, not by like when I broke my collarbone, that set me out for a couple months, but like, it just was a dip, and me, you know, I was healing, but like I was distracted by that. This was, you're grounded, stay home. Who knows what's happening? By the way, it was also sort of around the time where everyone was scrounging for like toilet paper and rice and shit. Like, it was just like, you know, there's a moment where, what the fuck are we walking into?
Right.
How long is this going to be? You know,
we didn't hear anything about phases or anything like that yet. It was just like, stay home and we'll let you know.
New.
Yeah,
it was all brand new. And so we were all sort of like, there was a moment where I stopped and I just sort of processed, and I was, and, you know, depression set in the sense of like, oh man, I had all this good stuff lined up and like, that's gone. And so I got to get over that. But like, you know, who knows what, there's so many questions, and laying around and sitting around. It's kind of like, you know, it's like when your flight, you miss your flight and you're stuck at the airport and you're sort of waiting around for like, okay, I'm waiting for the information from when's the next flight? Am I sleeping here tonight? Am I getting a hotel? Do we leave? I don't know. Nobody knows. So there was this moment of just like trying to figure it out. And I got real depressed over those 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But also in doing that, it was a necessary reset that needed to happen, I think, inside of me, that I'm only really starting to feel the benefits of now. As far as me, you know, mentally and physically, you know, being able to sleep in my own bed for 6-7 months is like,
what's that
I haven't
like?
done that.
What's that like? What's it like being home?
Yo, you know what I mean? Like that's a whole other head space to be in. Eating healthier because, you know, losing a bunch of weight because I wasn't eating shitty food on the road, getting more sleep, paying attention to more things, getting things done around the house, like all these things that I've been putting off, and starting to feel a little more at peace with this other side of my life that I neglected.
Right.
You know, I was still with me, but I was riding shotgun to this whole other thing. And so it forced me to sort of put that in front. So all the music stuff went to the side. And also, like, well, I'm not getting paid for anything and there's no gigs coming up. So naturally, I can just put a hold on all that. And so I did. And eventually, I sort of got to the point where, like, I need to do something. I'm going a little stir crazy. And once that happened, that was kind of, I'd made a point to start streaming. And so I set a date on Twitch, got my Twitch channel up and ready to go. But in the middle of that, I'd already sort of set my eyes on that. I got a call from Pasquale from Insomniac, and he was like, "Hey man, we're doing these raves at the office, and they're quarantine style where it's like, you know, people will come in this door, they'll play, then they'll disinfect everything, they'll go out the other door, and the next person." So it's like they had a conveyor belt sort of set up. And
good on them for doing that. The production was amazing on those, by the way.
Yeah, which is great because it was like, look, we're all sort of sitting around not knowing what to do, and you know, shout out to Insomniac for stirring up something.
Yep.
But I went on that thing and did my set, and there's a little bit of stuff I got to talk about that matters to probably the people who are tuned in, but like it's kind of funny, like, you know, being a headline DJ and having my career and everything, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm down to do it, Pasquale, let's do it. And he's like, cool, it's in like 3 days or 4 days or some shit. I was like, what? I was like, in my mind, like, we're doing it in a month,
right.
2 months. That's always how it works. But all of a sudden I was like, I got to put a set together. So I was like, fuck. So meanwhile, I was like, I got to do it on turntables. I can't do it on CDJs because like I got to bring my gear down, and like, how's the changeover going to work? So there's the tech side of like,
and then you're Mr. Soundcheck over here.
right. Well, it's just, well, because it's gear that isn't just like stock. I gotta make sure it works, right? And changeover's got to be fast. So we had to figure that out. So we hit all these obstacles. All of a sudden, like, this is happening in like 10 minutes, and so I was like, oh shit. So I was like, guys, I need to be on turntables. They're like, well, we can't do a changeover that's going to be fast enough because their changeovers were like 5 minutes.
Yep.
So we ended up that they were like, look. So two things happened. One, they were like, well, we thought about it, and you're going to have to start the whole thing. I was like, oh, fuck, man, I'm starting the fucking thing. Like, and in my mind, the concept of like headliner slot versus opening slot, like old mentality was like, oh man, this isn't a good look. Like, fuck, like that's, you know, oh, you got the old guy going on first. Great. Right. You know what I mean? Just was like, But on top of that, they were like, oh, and by the way, we want you to do an old school set. I'm like, fuck, now you like now
I'm the old guy playing old school.
Now I'm the old guy playing the old school set, opening the fucking set. I was like, this is, what did I agree to? Like super bummed because I was like, this is not what I'm trying to represent. And
shouts out Kirk
who I
with
am.
The boomer emotes. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah, for real. But so I was like, oh fuck. But the concept of like, okay, you know what I'll do? I'll do a little bit of old school flavor, but like with new school flavor, because that's kind of what I'm about. Like, I'll give you a little bit of throwback shit, but I'll put that medicine in the new shit, so you get your
lace it with
flavor.
With their, yeah, exactly.
But like, but like, I was putting out a song, you know, in like a week or two, a track that I did with Ellis Dream called Space Funk, and that, like, so I was like, I got to premiere that on there. I got to show them that I'm not just this old guy up there on vinyl. So the concept was like, okay, you know, 50% OG shit, 50% cutting edge bleeding shit, or a hybrid of like giving you throwback shit, but with like new drums, new bass, new sounds, rinse it, right?
Yep.
So, so I did my set, and I found a track that was like old school with the new school flavor, and it sort of quantified everything I was trying to do, did my stuff, and then jumped off. And the funny thing is, it made me, all of it happened. It was like a lightning bolt. I said goodbye. I got in the car and I looked at my phone. I had like 300 or 600 fucking new messages on Instagram of people who were like, holy shit, what you did, oh my God, with the thing and the vinyl, oh my God, how have I never known about you before? Oh my God. And
that was another thing too, because I was in the chat when you were doing your set, and there were so many people that are like, who is this guy? I've never heard of this guy. Is that Calvin Harris? What's going on right now?
I loved it. But that was the thing of like my old mentality. It was like this thing of like, shed the skin of worrying about how you're perceived and the concept of headliner versus fuck it. You're in this realm now where it's all liquid and it doesn't fucking matter. And it's actually almost even better that you're playing now, because I started seeing people who were like, oh my God, I feel bad for anybody who has to follow that dude. Like, holy shit. And
that's another thing too, because not to cut you off.
No, easy.
We do Saturday lineups here on the channel, and they're hour-long time slots with a short little conversation between time slots to kind of keep things human. And one thing that I have noticed is the idea of the in real life events where the earlier hour was the opener DJ, and then you worked your way up to the headliner. Not necessarily true in live streaming. They actually kind of come in tough really hard in the first couple of hours, and then you either hold them or you don't.
Right.
Yeah, yep. And so
to me, that's the whole concept, is like, I got completely sunned right there, and was like, I went back home, drove back down to San Diego, and I was up until 8 a.m. responding to everybody who would hit me up and was like, oh my God, what you did, amazing. By the way, Project is asking about the Wu-Tang dub plate. We just finished mastering that, so I think it's going to come out in some capacity. We're talking about maybe even pressing up a 45 of that, maybe doing, a couple hundred just to like do it. Some OG shit, just have fun with it. So we'll see. So anyway, but
I love the rejuvenation of the 7-inch culture. Go ahead though. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Brad from the Next Man and Selector J Man. Those are the guys I did that tune with. So yeah, drum and bass Wu-Tang remix is pretty dope. Anyway, but yeah, man, I left there. I went in feeling like, man, I got fucking okey doked by like the homies. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting the headline slot. I'm opening. Fuck. You know what I mean? They want old school, but like, I also didn't, because it's those guys, it's like, I'll do whatever, man. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Because you're homies. Like Insomniac, they've had me out for many, many, many shows.
And for those that don't know about Pasquale, you maybe only know him as like the EDC mega massive guy, but Pasquale is real LA underground, cut his teeth.
He's ahead.
Yes,
he's
exactly.
A homie.
Yeah. I had the honor.
I was like, yeah. So for the thing, just to finish the thought, I had to rep for those guys. Like, whatever you want to do, I'm down. Fuck, it doesn't matter. So I humbled myself to just do it and do me. And in doing that, garnered a whole new wave of followers. And it sparked up my ability to go do my first stream on Twitch. And, right out the gate, I had like 20,000 people following me, watching, and, 100,000 views or some crazy amount, 20,000 strong through the whole thing. And all of a sudden, I was up to like 10,000 followers, like right out the gate for my first stream on my own channel based off of that. And then I went back and did the EDC set. And then I had a concept of like, okay, I understand sort of how to approach streaming now. And I was watching EDC go down. I was the last on the last day. And Pasquale was interviewing each DJ as they were coming up and saying stuff like, so what do you think about, COVID or whatever? And people would be like, yo, man, this and this. And so I would record all the segues, and I found a couple passages of Pasquale asking somebody about like, what's, how they felt. And they were like, yo, we're in this together. You're not alone. And so I ended up taking that audio and mixing it into my set.
That's beautiful.
And sort of put a whole set together. My EDC set is probably one of my strongest sets that I've done in a minute, because it came out of a very desperate place and a very sort of real place. And it was important for me to show people what the fuck I could do, but also like give them a shot of inspiration. But anyway, so those two sets really were the catalyst to push me into to go streaming hard, and to completely reframe my whole thought process on how to move forward from this, and sort of how to just how to look at everything differently. And like the things that mattered didn't. Everything that was left was right. Everything that was up was down. Shit that mattered to me back in the day doesn't matter to me at all. Shit that never mattered to me totally matters to me. And really, ultimately, at the end of the day, my interaction with my fan base and keeping them stoked and keeping my relationship with them as pure as possible, that's the only shit that matters to me, man. Like, and numbers, I could give a fuck if there's 3 people or 3 million people. It doesn't fucking matter.
You hear that, folks? You hear that? Go ahead.
And that's real. That's real talk. Like to get caught up in the numbers and statistics and stats is all bullshit. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that from somebody who's had a lot of numbers. I've also had moments where I've had fucking 0 numbers. It doesn't fucking matter. Like as long as you got a base of people who rock with you, just give them love and they'll give it back to you. And if it grows, great. And if it doesn't, maybe it's not time yet. But don't count yourself out. Don't base your mood around like, oh, streaming didn't do fucking good this time. Man, fuck all that. Like you're getting your head fucking yourself.
Right.
And like the competition of likes and none of that shit matters.
It really
matters?
doesn't.
What matters? Did you do a good set? Did you play what you wanted to play? And did the people receive it? Did they love it? Did they hit you back and be like, yo, thank you, I needed that? Because that's all that matters. All the other shit is noise.
Right.
And if you get caught up in that, you really need to reprogram yourself. And for me, this whole COVID thing has really
mentally
been the
unhealthy
biggest
to be
lesson.
that way, honestly.
I've reprogrammed the shit out of my world, like completely. What matters to me now will matter to me moving forward. And thank God that this happened in a really sort of like, I'm saying that in a, you know, tongue in cheek in a sense, like thank God it happened for all the right reasons. Sad it happened for all the wrong reasons, but thank God this moment leveled the playing field and cleared my head and allowed me to recalibrate, because I think I, like most of the other people, were caught up in our day-to-day and we're like this, like we were just this, and this allowed me to sort of look and go, that's what matters. So you know what, let's just stay on that path. And like the that's where the money is, that's where the riches is, that's where the fucking connection is. And I'm not talking about financially, you know what I mean?
No,
that's just where that's where you want to be, and that's where you know. And I'm grateful, and I'm all the people who are here, who tuned in, who follow me and what I do. You know, whether you're there religiously or whether you're there once or every so often, I'm just happy to actually have a forum and a place to do what I do. And all the people who've stepped up and donated or have had my back through this is like, you just start to realize what matters, and you start to realize a lot of shit that doesn't matter. And I'm fortunate that I've had that realization through this, because to me that's the blessing on the double-edged sword of all the negativity that's gone. There's been a lot of that, and you know, respect to anybody who's lost anybody or who's been, you know, really affected by the negative side, because that's just not dope either. But
right.
like I'm just trying to find the good in this, and at least
that's healthy.
I found something that I can cling on to through this process that matters to me. And you know, I don't mean to gush, but like that's in a very deep side of what makes me get up in the morning. It's knowing that, you know, I've been able to take care of some people in some capacity or some way that's allowed them to also get through this shit because of what I've given. And that's being of service. Best feeling ever, man. You know, like that's it. And I would do it whether or not I got paid. I would do it just based off of that, you know. So I'm humbled by it all, you know what I mean? And that's real talk.
Big up, man. That's a beautiful thing, seriously.